All right. Number 481, Belle and Sebastian's album If You're Feeling Sinister was released in 1996, we said?
Yep.
Yeah, 1996. Another November record. Produced by Tony Dugan on Jeepster Records out of the UK, Scotland to be specific. 41 minutes long from Belle and Sebastian. How about I lead this one off with a hot
You
take?
go right ahead. Let's hear it.
All right. There is neither a Belle nor a Sebastian in this band. It is a group of Scottish lads that got together and put together some chamber pop, chamber folk, indie rock, indie pop, or twee pop, which I'm not really familiar with, but they threw this album together. This album is their second LP. I thought it was incredibly boring. Now, that was when I thought, out of ignorance, that it literally was just a guy and a girl with some other musicians. Now that I know that it's a full band that presumably come with all the power and skill of Scottish musicians that came before and after them, what the hell are we doing? This was just boring. I've said before I'm a lyrics last person. Maybe the lyrics are amazing and that's what people love, because it sure as shit ain't the music in this one. I didn't like it. That's the understatement of the year. That's all that, and then I come up with I didn't like it. I don't get it. I know that there are hipsters everywhere that say they love Belle and Sebastian. I don't believe them. I don't believe them. In fact, my friend Sarah, I know, has mentioned that she likes Belle and Sebastian. Sarah, you're a liar. No one likes Belle and Sebastian. You just listen to it. It's like the Wonder Years have a song where they say saying I'm gonna misquote it, but it's something along like saying you like the rain isn't your personality, right? Saying you like Belle and Sebastian isn't your personality. It's just not. Sorry. Put on a proper album and listen to that. Anyways, Kyle, what did you think?
This was one. So I got to think back, but I think so far every album that I had when I initially started listening to this list, every album that I listened to and then came back and re-listened to, and it made me adjust my score. It made me adjust it up. Like I adjusted a few things up. Like that Far Side album, I had initially given it a 3, and I listened to it again a couple months later, and I bumped it up a little bit. This album, I bumped it down.
As you should.
When I first listened to it, I wasn't in the mood for it, and by the second or third song, it put me in the mood for it. So I appreciated that. I didn't dislike it, and I still don't dislike it. Actually, I mean, I'm okay with it. My adjustment went from liking it to just being okay with it, though. Like, to me, it's okay. I feel now like this is the precursor to like the Arcade Fire 2000s indie pop stuff, or indie rock stuff that I just don't like. Like, we talked earlier about the Stooges and how I was saying, the Stooges were the cool sound, and then a lot of things came after that like were copying the cool sound, and it just gets overdone, and it's a caricature, it's a facsimile of the original thing. I feel like this, and maybe this isn't even the original cool indie sound, but it's a little bit closer to that, where the later stuff, like the indie rock of the 2000s, is the caricature, like not good, at least to me personally, my own personal preference. But this album on re-listen became a lot more boring. Like
Yes,
it was
you saw the
it
light.
was it was still pleasing to listen to though. Like in with on headphones, just sitting here listening to it, it was pleasing to my ears and I enjoyed it, and that's why I think I'm still okay with it. But it one of the things that I didn't like about it is that I felt like the vocals felt out of time with the music. Like the vocals felt very frenetic at times, like very fast paced, like rushed. And I don't know if that was an intentional, like artistic choice, but to me, it made the songs feel a little anxious, and the songs themselves didn't necessarily feel that way. So it kind of took me out of it. But yeah,
It's it's
it wasn't. It didn't hit me as hard the second time as it did the first time.
I don't want to beat the same drum, but I just saw that in 2013 there was a documentary made about this album. Why? Why? Anyways,
This is
to
gonna be
your point,
one. This is gonna be one that people come after us for.
I hope so. Bring it. It's you were talking about the influences. Tom Brahan from Stereo Gum, reflecting on it 20 years later, claimed that Sinister could be, quote, too influential, unquote. Despite, he says, like, it took a long time for Belle and Sebastian to catch on, but when they did, like, a lot of bands gravitated to them. He says that he saw the band's timidity taken. I don't know what that means. Anyways, it was introduced to a new audience in U.S. college kids. They cite that bands like Death Cab, Sufjan Stevens, The Decemberists. So exactly, like you hit the nail on the head. Like that indie wave that came up at that point, like definitely called on Belle and Sebastian as an influence. And yeah, and honestly, it's interesting seeing this because those three, Death Cab, Decemberists, and Sufjan Stevens are I can never get into them. I think Death Cab is the same. It's just I don't like it. It's I what you said about like the songs, they're pretty, but there's nothing in there that makes me want to listen to it again. It's just bleak, gray, and I like bleak music. Don't get me wrong. I mean, there's some bleak stuff that I listen to. What I mean, I guess, is just the sound of it. It's just not. There's nothing there for me. I don't. Again, I defy anyone who says they're a Belle and Sebastian fan to name another band they like, and have that be in the same vein. I don't. I don't believe them. I just don't. I gave it a 2. It's not a 1. It's not a 1. I respect it. Yeah, I respect it. Sure, it sounds like I respect it. Absolutely. This album can take a hike. Anyways, anything else on Belle and Sebastian, or did we
No,
sufficiently kick their ass?
I mean, I gave it a 3, so it's not.
Oh,
I like, and that's down from a
and
4.
that's wait.
That's
And,
down
oh,
from a.
you gave
I
it a 4. You were
I
smoking
did.
crack.
I enjoyed it the first time I listened to it. And I don't know what it was. I would like to go back to that first listen and hear what I heard that first time, because
I would
I
like
didn't
to.
hear it when I listened to it again.
I would like to go back to that first listen and kick that Kyle's ass. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that was Belle and Sebastian's. If you're feeling sinister, a little spicy on that one. Yeah. So, Kyle, that takes us through the first 20 albums.
Hey, thanks for watching. We'd love to know what you think of this album, so let us know in the comments. Do you approve this groove? And as always, a quick thumbs up helps a lot. Subscribe so you can see all 500 albums, and we'll see you on the next record.